Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those who don't already know me, my name is Matthew and I am on a journey of self-discovery, losing weight, becoming a better person for it, all thanks to Mounjaro and, you know, some other stuff as well. If you are a returning viewer, thank you very much for popping back in. Put in the comments below if you are brand new or if you are coming back for seconds. Now, I want to try and keep this channel as genuine as I can. I don't want to have to record off of scripts and have to come up with fake stuff to tell you to try and make it interesting. I want you to know me as I am so that we can form some form of connection and you can look forward to coming back because you either like me as a person or you don't want to come back because you think I'm a bit of an idiot. Either way, choice is entirely up to you and you're probably correct both ways. But look, if you're thinking about starting Mounjaro or if you're already on it, then this video is for you and I'll tell you why. I'll show you exactly how I use Mounjaro, how I set up for the day, how I set up my workstation when I'm about to use it, and I'll explain to you why I personally decided to move up from 2.5 to 5 milligrams after just 1 month. I'll talk you through everything that I do, no fluff, no pressure, just one bloke telling you what I get up to. So just to give you some context, if you've not watched any of my other videos, by the way, go and watch them. I started off on 2.5 milligrams about 8 weeks ago. And so far I've lost 16 kilograms. So I was 136 kilograms and today I've weighed in at 120 kilograms. So pretty amazing with that. That's about 35 point something pounds for those watching in the United Kingdom. Now, during this time, I've noticed already some rather decent changes. Not just obviously in my shirt line and how well my trousers fit me and how many holes I've had to put in my belt. It's gonna cost a lot of money losing weight. But also how I feel in myself day to day. I can run up the stairs now to get to where this office is upstairs without being out of breath. I can do the school run and talk to camera without huffing and puffing and sounding like I'm a pack-a-day smoker, which I'm not. I don't feel bloated anymore. I just genuinely feel healthier. My irritable bowel syndrome, or IBS, has all but gone away. But more importantly, I feel hopeful again. I feel like there is finally a light at the end of the tunnel, which is pretty amazing. But, like many of you, if you're already on this journey, I found that the 2.5 milligram didn't quite take away that hunger noise, that little voice in the back of your head that says, you should go downstairs and see what's in the fridge. Oh, I think there are some biscuits in the cupboard, Matthew. It was that little voice at night time that for me was a real struggle. Through the day I was okay, but laying in bed at night time, you know, my little voice would pop up and say, McDonald's sounds good right about now. And luckily I had enough willpower to kind of dismiss majority of those thoughts, although I did have 1 or 2 bad days where I you know, had a cheat day, if you like. So that was the big reason for me going up to the 5, because I just wanted to get rid of those food noises once and for all. And you know, look, I've been on 5 milligram now for 3 weeks and so far, so good. But look, it's a personal journey. So what works for me may not work for you. And as I say in every single one of my videos, I am not a doctor. I am not giving you healthcare advice here. I am simply telling you what my journey's been like so far. Okay, you need to make your own way on your own journey and do what is right for you. When I moved up to the 5 milligrams, I felt the change in that food noise literally within 12 hours. So literally the next day, my appetite was suppressed even further and I wasn't craving those foods. So I thought that was a really, really good thing for me to do. And I didn't get any more side effects either, which is absolutely amazing because a lot of people, when they move up doses, their side effects get worse or they get new side effects. And for me, I haven't had any side effects, nothing out of the ordinary anyway. Let's walk through what I do on a Wednesday, which is the day that I take my Mounjaro, and how I deal with the process. So typically, I'll do the school run, and then when I get back, I'll take the pen out of the fridge. I like to let it sit out at room temperature for 15-20 minutes just to take the sting off. Some of you may have noticed that if you take it straight out the fridge and inject it, you're going to get a slight stinging sensation. Now, if you let that liquid warm up a bit to room temperature, you might find that helps. So give that a go. Comment down below for me if you've experienced that sting and if you found other ways to stop that from happening. While I'm waiting for that pen to warm up, I will normally try and hydrate. So I'll fill up my water bottle, and drinking water is not only good for Mounjaro, it's just good for your body and your general health. So it's gonna clear up your skin, it's gonna make you feel fuller for longer because you've got a lot of water in your stomach rather than it being empty. And it's just good for your health, generally speaking, right? The last thing I'll do is I'll make sure that the area is clean. So I'll wipe down the sides with spray and wipe, make sure it's all as sterile as I can get it without being in a hospital environment, and then I'll bring everything out and pop it on the side. So as you can see here, I've got my sharps container, I've got my alcohol wipes, I've got my spare needle, I've got the pen, and most importantly, I have a cup of tea. Now, look, the injection itself is really surprisingly very easy. The needle is incredibly small, and a lot of you have asked whether or not it hurts when the needle goes in, and no, it does not. I don't feel it at all. Sometimes you'll get a mild sting from the fluid going in, from the actual dose itself, but again, if you let it sit at room temperature for 15 minutes before you use it, that shouldn't happen either, really. Now, obviously, again, everyone's journey is going to be different. What hurts me might not hurt you, and vice versa. But for me, there's no pain at all. So once I've got everything out, I start to assemble the pen. So you're going to pull off that main lid. You're going to check the fluid that's in there, making sure that that's clear and it's not cloudy or yellow. If it is, you need to contact your provider and check with them. But I would assume they would tell you not to use it at that point. Then I'm going to clean that area of the pen with the alcohol wipe, and then I'm going to attach the needle, a clean, brand new needle. You never want to reuse needles, right? Depending on who your supplier is, they should send you some spare needles to use as well. So my supplier send 2 spare ones, just in case one breaks or one's faulty or I drop it or whatever the case might be. So once that's in, I then prime the pen, which is moving the dial to the first large line and clicking it until the medicine comes out the end of the needle. You can do that as many times as you need. If it's a brand new pen, you might have to do it 3 or 4 times before you start to get fluid coming out. Once that happens and you've made sure you've cleared any air bubbles, go ahead and dial the pen all the way up as far as it will go. It will click, 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 click all the way around till it gets to 1, and then it should stop. Then you're going to pick the site where you're going to inject. Now, I tend to alternate between my stomach and my upper arm. You can do your stomach, upper arm, or your thigh, your upper thigh. It's entirely up to you, whatever is more comfortable. For this demonstration, I'm going to do my upper arm. You place the pen at a 90-degree angle, stick the needle in, again, there's no pain, and then you push down on the button at the end. It will click all the way down, very much like an EpiPen. Once it gets to the end, it won't be able to push it anymore. It will read 0 on the dial. You can remove the pen, rub the area down a little bit, and then you're going to want to uncap it and dispose of that in the sharps bin provided. Recap your pen with the lid and stick it back in the fridge, ready for next week. It really is that simple. After you've done that, you can literally go on with your life. There's nothing more to it. It's the most simple medication I've ever had to take. Well, not have to take. I don't have to take it. Let me rephrase. It's the best medication I've ever opted to take. So let's talk timing. I choose to take my pen on the Wednesday, and I do that for a few reasons. One, it gives me 2 days before the weekend, if I am going to have any side effects, to get them out of the way, because the majority of side effects will only last for the first 48 hours. So I work from home, I don't need to worry about being on public transport or being out and about too much over those 2 days, but I want to make sure the weekends are free so that I can spend them with my kids and my family, which is one of the biggest reasons I'm doing Mounjaro. I want to be fit and healthy for them. What are the side effects you can have? Now, well, look, the list is quite long. You can have things from nausea to eggy burps to constipation to diarrhea to vomiting to not being able to sleep, palpitations, and then there are some quite severe ones. So you do need to read the packaging and do your own research on the pharmacy websites. I'm just really lucky I haven't had any, but your journey may not be the same as mine. All I can recommend is drink loads of water and make sure you're eating the right foods. Stay away from those complex carbohydrates, things like pastas, potatoes, chips, deep fried fatty foods, and try and stay away from processed foods like processed meat, like ham and stuff like that. And everything in moderation. If I fancy a bit of chocolate, I'm gonna have a bit of chocolate, but I'm gonna have a small bit. If I fancy a bit of cake or a slice of pizza, I'll do that, but I'm gonna have one slice of pizza instead of the whole pizza. That's how I got into that problem in the first place. Yes, I can eat 12 slices. I can probably eat more than that, but not anymore, thanks to Mounjaro. That was cheesy. Anyway, the key to this is consistency. The key to this is knowing that most days are gonna be okay. You're gonna have your hard days, and you're gonna have your days where you relapse, where you eat something that you don't think you should have eaten. But it's really important to know that every day is its own singular day. And just because I do something naughty today doesn't mean I need to punish myself tomorrow. The body is so good at using the calories that you give it today and not really worrying about it too much tomorrow. So if you do mess up on one day and you go out to a party and you have a little bit too much to drink or too much to eat, then just crack on like normal the following day. Don't punish yourself by trying to eat less to make up for the difference. It does not work like that, and you're only gonna make it super hard on yourself. Now, I don't weigh myself daily because with any diet or with any way of losing weight, your weight will fluctuate. So I weigh myself once a week on my Mounjaro injection day, which is a Wednesday morning. And I do weigh myself in the morning, as should you. Before you've eaten anything, before you've had 3 litres of water, because if you eat 3 meals a day and have 3 to 4 litres of water, you're gonna be significantly heavier by the evening. So do yourself a favour, first thing in the morning, go into the bathroom, do your things, weigh yourself with minimal clothing on, and keep that as an accurate record. But you'll notice this not just from your weight. You'll notice this working because your clothes fit better or become too baggy. All of a sudden your belt isn't tight enough and you need to poke an extra hole in there or buy a new belt. You'll notice this because you can walk up the stairs without feeling like you've just walked up Mount Everest. It's small little changes, but they happen relatively surprisingly quickly. Well, at least they did for me. And it's those things that make you feel good about life more so than what the scales say. So even if you don't have a set of scales, doesn't mean you can't track your progress. So look, if you are considering Mounjaro, I hope this video has given you some insight into that. And maybe it's helped you decide whether it's the right thing for you or not. I can't tell you that. It's your journey. What I can say is that for me, it's the best bloody thing I've done in my life. Apart from, having kids, but you've got to say that, right? If this video did help you in any way, please hit that like button. Please hit the subscribe button if you're not already following. Share some love. It lets me know that someone's enjoying these and someone's getting something out of them. And yeah, I am still new at doing the whole YouTube thing. So apologies if the editing is not up to par or the videos are a little bit shorter than most. It's a struggle to record an hour's worth of content when you're talking about taking an injection. So bear with me. I am trying to get them to be a lot better. So if you do subscribe, you get to follow me on that journey, which is amazing. Anyway, thank you for being here. If you haven't already realized it, a new video will come out every single Wednesday at lunchtime, 12 o'clock. Subscribe, like, hit that bell notification so you're notified next Wednesday when a new video comes out. And if you haven't watched any of my last videos, go and check them out. There'll be links on the screen here somewhere. The one about my IBS is quite good. It's not at all shitty.